Ryan Gosling. He's adorable.
I have that movie on my list. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I need to go see it for sure. My sweet daughter saw it, but I have not seen it yet. So. Yeah, absolutely. Hollywood is so good at love stories. I mean, they're so great. They have the drama, the what you've been looking for, the romance, the excitement. It's awesome. It's perfect. If I could just have that one perfect person, they make everything great. Absolutely. And for us guys, I'm just gonna admit it, us guys, we like love stories too. Absolutely. I mean, we do like some car chase scenes, maybe a fight or two, but other than that, we do like a love story.
Absolutely. It's great for entertainment value. I mean, Disney has built an empire off this, but is it really the best recipe for real relationships? I mean, chemistry sells movie tickets, but doesn't sell long-term happiness. I don't know. Listen, once you hit middle school, it feels like everything shifts, doesn't it? And if you haven't thought about relationships yet, you begin to. Maybe it's because other people start pairing off and you want to make sure you don't get left behind, or maybe it's all those school dances they seem to have. I don't know, maybe you just want to have someone to hang out with on a Saturday night and watch Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, and maybe you're not even thinking about dating yet. That could totally be it. It's just not on your radar. You haven't found the right person. Yeah, that's okay, but surely you've seen other guys and gals that are dating, and so it makes you start thinking about it, and I think that's because God created us to need to be in relationship. Even from the very beginning with Adam and Eve, there was a desire for relationship. And so we were made for relationships, absolutely. Sorry, I didn't put these through there. Yeah. And so when I think about that whole idea of relationships and how we were made for relationships, it makes me wonder, when you were in 7th grade, when you were in middle school, what was your idea of the picture-perfect relationship?
Yeah, when I think back to that time and what I thought, I pictured the cute, popular girl getting asked out by the good-looking, athletic guy. And
that was me.
For sure. And they'd have everything in common, and they'd hold hands everywhere, and we're cute, and we're always laughing, and kind of like what you see in the movies, right? And I'm sure I got these ideas from movies I watched and books I read and whatever, or maybe even just imagining in my own brain, looking from the outside in, what that must have been like, But anyway, what about you? What do you think is the picture-perfect relationship? We're gonna break into our small groups now and just chat about what you think that looks like.
Yeah, awesome. So 6th grade guys over here, 7th. All right, the perfect relationship. It can be so easy to get caught up in that perfect relationship, Oh, I totally forgot to do that during the last thing. It can be so easy to get caught up in that whole idea of Hollywood, and we got to find the right person, and then if I just find this perfect person, they're going to complete us. But that's not realistic, And I think when you date that way, it takes away your opportunity to experience dating the way God created it and intended it to be. We live in a world that says, I have to find the one. And if I find that one person, that person will complete me. They'll make me so happy. If I just find the right, perfect person, then we'll have beautiful children and we'll have this awesome love story. And there's incredible pressure there that we have to find the one person. And you see people who deal with this all the time, especially when it comes to breaking up, that they'll get into a dating relationship and things are really, really happy and things are really great. Then they break up and then they're devastated because their perfect person is gone.
Absolutely. If that's your ultimate relationship goal, to find the one who completes you, I'm sorry to say it's going to end badly. Yeah. Because, dating was never intended or designed for completion. In fact, marriage was never designed for completion. It's not what it's about. It's not what it was designed for. But the good news is that God has given us a few clues about the design for relationships and His goals for them. And I just wanted to share with you from the book of Genesis. This is chapter 2, verse 18. Then the Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper who is just right for him." God created Eve as someone to help Adam, not complete him. She was supposed to be his friend. She was to help him, relate to him, spend time with him. She was not a completer, she was a companion. God designed relationships for companionship. God created Eve so that she would enhance Adam's life, not be his life, right? And let's not forget, Adam was already in paradise when God created Eve, so she didn't make it paradise, I'm sorry to say, ladies. But God created Eve so that the man and the woman together could enjoy life, and so that they could help each other actually grow in their individual relationship with God, so they could encourage each other to grow closer to God, and that was the point.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. You know, like just like you said, Eve wasn't made to complete Adam. Only God can complete us. And I think a lot of times we fall into that trap. Well, the idea that we want you to get today is that only God can make you complete. That when you date for someone to complete you, you're going to have a bad time because no one was created to do that. No one can complete you. Just I totally appreciate what you said. Even marriage, even your husband or a wife, their job is not to complete you. Only God can complete you. You know, Jesus talks about in John chapter 4, he is meeting with this lady and they're sitting around this well. And he's trying to communicate to her that really the one thing in your life that will make you complete is me. And he begins using this water as an illustration. And he says, you know, you can drink this water all day long and you're going to be thirsty. But I have water that you can have, and if you drink it, you'll never be thirsty again. And of course, Jesus isn't talking about water. He's talking about a relationship with God, that if you will have a real relationship with God, it is the only thing that will complete you. I love how it says here, it says, this lady, she doesn't understand what he's saying. She says, please, sir, the woman said, give me this water, then I'll never be thirsty again, and I won't have to come here to get water. And Jesus says, well, go and get your husband. She says, I don't have a husband. And Jesus is like, you're right, you don't have a husband. For you've had 5 husbands, and you aren't even married to the man you're living with now. For her, this is a woman that she dated for completion. She thought, if I just marry the right guy, my life will be complete. Then it wasn't, they got divorced. She married another guy, thought it would complete her, divorced. She did it even this last guy. The 6th guy in a row here. It's not going to work. Instead, Jesus says this. He says, those who drink the water I give will never be thirsty again. It becomes a fresh, bubbling spring within them, giving them eternal life. That's how God made it to be. If you are going to date for completion, it's not going to work. Only God can make you complete.
Yep, only God. And you know what I was thinking, Ken? Kind of an illustration to help everybody see this a little bit better. I want you guys to imagine that this basket is your life, right? And we fill our lives with all kinds of things, don't we? This orange here, I want you to think of this like stuff, material possessions, right? The Kyrie 3s, the latest UGG boots, ladies, right?
My iPhone.
Your iPhone. Wait, so you see the lines outside the door when the new iPhones come out, right? Or maybe it's the latest Xbox game or whatever. Hey, stuff is fun. I like stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff is good, and it makes life enjoyable, right? But when we put it in our life and we expect it to fill us up, to complete us, it doesn't work, does it?
Not even completing my Pokédex.
Right? Not even that. Right? And how about this orange? Let's say this one. This one represents status. This might be your reputation, your popularity, you know, whatever you're looking for there, you know, what people think of you. And students, you're not alone. I mean, it's not just a middle school affliction. Adults, everybody, you know, is concerned about their reputation and how they're seen by others, right? But when we put a lot of emphasis on this in life and we think that'll fill us up when we finally get to be popular or whatever, that's not going to work, right? It doesn't fill up our life.
It's a hard one, though, because we really feel like if I could just be popular enough,
everything else
I'll
will
be
be
complete.
better. Because you think that person that's more popular than me, their life looks so perfect.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so great. But
They
you
have
know,
a boyfriend, a girlfriend.
they have everything. And that actually brings us to the third one. This orange represents the relationships in your life, sex, all the things we've been talking about here, looking to that other person to complete you. And so, once again, when we put that in our life, we think, I will have arrived, this will be great, I'll feel complete, but it doesn't complete us. Not even all of these things together will fill us up or complete us, right? And honestly, it's kind of silly to look to things and people to fill us up. We were made as human beings for completion. We were made to be complete. But when we look to these things for it, it just doesn't work. It's empty. It's empty. So what I want you to think about instead is filling up your life and being complete with Cavs basketball. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. This represents God, and so when you see this in your life, you see how it fills you up. You see how God is made for completion. People are made for relationships, companionship, but only God can complete us. And so I want you to close your eyes this week when you're having trouble with this and picture the basketball. This is what fills you up. God does.
Yeah, not things, not people, not a relationship.
None of that. And so actually, we're going to take a time out now, and we've been talking about a lot of things, and I want you to get into your small groups and think, all right, which of these ideas do I agree with? Which are a little harder? Which ones do I struggle with? And kind of chat about that. So go ahead and get in your small groups.
All right. Well, this morning we want you guys to leave here. If you leave here knowing one thing, it's this idea that people were made for companionship. I was made for completion. People were made for companionship. I was made for completion. The idea there is that dating is about companionship. It's the idea of companionship being friends, hanging out together. And that's the thing that I always tell middle schoolers and high schoolers that are thinking about dating is don't worry about trying to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. Just work on being friends and hanging out together, being the best of friends. And then if your relationship takes the next step, then you talk about it like, hey. But the hard part is a lot of times you don't start out as friends. And if you don't start off as friends, when you break up, you're not going to be friends. I mean, you could say I just want to be friends, but you're not going to because you're hurt, you don't like each other, and you're messed up. So we really feel like if you will take this idea to heart, it will change your dating. And there's so many advantages. Like one of the advantages is breakups. Breakups aren't nearly as devastating. If you break up because you're just friends, it's like, hey, I guess it didn't work out. But when you break up because you're dating for completion, it's like the whole world has ended. And so it's just less big deal.
Absolutely. And how about like seriousness of relationships, you know? You can relax a little bit. You don't have to make your boyfriend or your girlfriend your everything when you know they don't complete you.
Yeah, because you're not focused on it. And it also helps with physical stuff. You know, when you're in a dating relationship and you want to set up some physical boundaries and someone's saying, you know, I don't want to do anything more than kiss. Some people are like, I don't want to kiss until my wedding date. That is awesome. But when you're dating for completion, you feel this pressure that I can't lose this person because this is the only person, this person was meant for me. And so in that sense, if that person wants to go further physically, then you feel compelled to have to do that, or else you'll lose that person. But when you're dating for companionship, that person respects you and goes, hey, you know, it's good. We agreed to do this.
Yeah, definitely. Helps you to keep the standards you had set before you were in that relationship.
Huge.
Yeah. And how about drama? Is there any drama in middle school relationships? Listen, if you can get this right, you can really tone down that drama, right? Those fights, the tweets, the gossip. Oh my gosh, so much. Listen, we know you're going to date, right? And we just want to help you when you get there to date well, right? I mean, you may not date this year, you may not date for 5 more years, but when you get there, we really want to help you to date well and to date in a way that honors God, in a way that sets you up for the best marriage possible for when you get there. But it all starts with the understanding of this idea that people were made for companionships, relationships are for companionship, only God is for completion.
Yeah, and dating is so fun. We love dating. Kim and I don't actually date.
We don't date, but we date other people.
But we date our spouses, right? And we love it. It is so fun. There's like nothing more fun than going on a date with my sweet wife and hanging out together. I need to take her to go see La La Land.
That's what we need. I'm going to take Jim to go see La La Land.
We should do a double date.
We should double date.
Yeah. But man, when you are dating that way, it changes everything. It makes it so much more fun. And you just gotta remember, dating is not for completion, it's for companionship. And maybe you're here today and you're like, you know what, I have been doing this wrong the whole time. I need to start dating for companionship. Absolutely. This whole series that we're getting ready to do is all about helping you be able to date better.
Absolutely. So we're going to spend some time in the coming weeks talking about how to prepare ourselves for great relationships. How to stop trying to look for that person who completes you, and how to start focusing your efforts on being the one that God desires you to be within your relationships. And you know, that's a choice you can make right now. That's something that you can commit to going forward regardless of what your past looks like. You can decide right now, no matter what I've done in the past, no matter what I'm facing in the present right now, or no matter what choices and what it costs me in the future, I'm going to be the one.
Yeah, that's huge. In fact, next week, Zach is going to be talking about for the guys as far as what does it mean to be a great guy. And I'm really looking forward to that because it'll not only be good for us guys to go, yeah, that's what it means to be a great guy, but for you girls to go, you know what, that's the kind of guy I want to date. And then the week after that, Miss Jean, where are you, Jean Miller? There she is. Jean and I are going to talk about being a great gal and what does it mean to be the kind of woman that you can be, that everyone would want to date you. And for you girls, I think it's going to be really helpful for you with identity stuff. For us guys, it's going to give you an idea of who do I need to look to. And then the week after that, we're going to end our session with Mike Davis from the 99s. It's going to be awesome. Our last challenge for you today is if you are in a dating relationship, we want to encourage you to take a hard and real look at your relationship and ask yourself, am I dating this person because I want them to complete me, that I want them to make me happy, that I feel like I'm missing something that only they can give me? Or are you dating for companionship? And if you're not dating for companionship, we want to really encourage you, it's okay to take a time out. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? I just think we could take a break. And if that person freaks out, they're like, what, you want to break up? Blah, blah, blah. Clearly not the person for you, and that would be a really tough thing to do. I think that would be tough. If I was in a dating relationship,
It'll take a lot of courage.
It would be really hard to do, but man, if you'll date this way, it's so much better.
It's going to be worth it, absolutely.
Yeah, huge. Anything else you want to add?
Oh, good.
That's good. Well, Kim, it's been awesome. Will you close us in prayer?
Absolutely. Lord, I thank you for this time we've had together. I thank you for each and every one of these students. And we're so grateful that you've shown us, Lord, that you're the one who completes us. And just ask you that you remind us and every day that we look to you for completion and not anyone or anything else. We thank you for loving us. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. I hope you guys have a great week.